Get out of our area now!
You can't stop us forever.
Look, I'm just going to be straight with you. If someone told me 6 months ago that my peaceful retirement by the lake would erupt into something resembling a battlefield, I'd have chuckled and waved it off as nonsense. I'd built a solid Lafino drama, no headaches. Then the Homeowners Association swooped in with their endless rules, petty fines, and those condescending violation notices. But here's where they really slipped up. They didn't target me. They went after my wife, Laura. She's the picture of calm always behind a camera lens or in the kitchen whipping up apple pies. What they had no clue about was that she used to drop threats from half a mile away with deadly accuracy. Ever discover your partner had a hidden chapter in their life? I figured I had paradise nailed down. This cozy cabin on Willow Lake, purchased with my nest egg after 2 decades of back-breaking boat restoration work. I'm Jack Harlan, 42, and I thought I'd crack the code to a stress-free existence. The idea was straightforward. Tinker with a few vintage boats on my own time, maybe flip them to folks with deep pockets and shallow skills, and just breathe easy. No more tight deadlines, pushy clients, or supervisors hovering like vultures. Just the lake, my tools, and endless days to do what I loved. I still recall our moving Day 3 rickety trucks crammed with furniture and boxes labeled in Laura's tidy script. When we unloaded the final batch and stood on the dock gazing at the water, I said, "This is it." She gave me that soft smile. This is home. The place needed work-fresh roof, a sturdy dock, and a kitchen straight out of the disco era, but it had character and that stunning view. Mornings brought sunlight dancing on the waves, and I'd think, this is why I busted my hump for 20 years. That first evening, Laura spent hours on the dock with her camera, patient as a saint, waiting for the ideal sunset glow. I watched from the window, admiring her stillness, the way she could freeze like a statue until the light was perfect. Maybe I should have probed deeper then, but I enjoyed the mystery. There was a ritual to how she'd set up her gear, tripod legs adjusted just so, light meter checked repeatedly, shutter clicked at the precise instant. It soothed me, though I wondered what thoughts swirled in her head during those quiet spells. What did she see through that viewfinder that escaped me? But I left it alone. Some enigmas enhance a marriage. Then there were the odd moments, like during thunderstorms. Our first big one at the cabin, I found her wide awake at 2 a.m., staring out the window as lightning cracked the sky, alert as if anticipating trouble. "You okay?" I asked. She smiled. Always been a light sleeper. But it wasn't mere insomnia. Her eyes held a calculated distance, like she was measuring ranges or timing strikes. I dismissed it as creative quirks. Laura rarely spoke of her past, and I didn't pry. I knew she'd served in the military. Her posture screamed discipline, but she'd brush it off. "Different chapter," she'd say, pivoting to talk about the herons nesting early or the way sunlight hit the reeds. Everyone has baggage, right? I had my own youthful regrets I preferred buried. But hindsight's brutal. I should have dug deeper. One night, I overheard her on the phone in a clipped, authoritative tone. "Target confirmed. Pattern holds. Proceed." When I entered, she switched seamlessly to chatting about groceries. The shift unnerved me, but I let it slide. That's when Margaret Voss arrived across the lake. 3 massive moving vans, a team of pros, and furniture fit for a mansion. Money oozed from her. Within weeks, she infiltrated the HOA meetings. A month later, she was president. Red flag? Absolutely. Who barrels into a neighborhood and seizes power like that? It's like crashing a barbecue and declaring you'll rearrange the grill. Mrs. Ramirez whispered later that Margaret had funded new office supplies, swaying the tiny board. It was less election, more takeover. I stayed in my lane, assuming it wouldn't touch us. Wrong. She transformed the HOA into a regime. Printed schedules, color-coded violation logs, military precision, ironically. Notices flew like confetti. Our dock extended 6 inches too far. Our garden gnome clashed with aesthetics. Even our wind chimes hung at the wrong angle, breaching some noise rule. What got me was Laura's response. I'd rant about the latest slip, but she'd listen intently, asking pointed questions. What time did they arrive? Photos taken? Approach direction? I figured she was strategizing avoidance. Now I know she was scouting like a pro. One evening, I spotted her sketching a neighborhood map, marking homes and distances. Photography spots, she claimed. Plausible then. The turning point hit one morning in the garage, reorganizing tools pointlessly, when raised voices drifted in. Peering out, I saw Mr. Caldwell insisted on the formal title, though his name was probably Gary crowding Laura by the dock, waving a notice aggressively. Noncompliance means escalating fines, possibly legal action, he barked, inching closer. Laura stood statue still, hands loose, eyes predatory like a coiled spring. My gut twisted. I'd never seen her like that. In 8 years, she'd shown every emotion, but this was feral. As I approached, her glance at me flashed something icy, lethal. Who was this woman? Margaret wasn't playing. This was mental warfare masked as civic duty. 2 weeks on, Mr. Caldwell returned with Victor, the compliance expert, a title reeking of fabrication. Victor was slick, intimidating elders like Mrs. Ramirez over bird feeders with low threats. They prowled our yard, snapping pics, measuring everything from flower beds to mailbox height. Methodical, checklist-driven harassment. Laura watched from the kitchen, not glancing tracking. Coffee mug forgotten, she cataloged their every move. I thought she was protective. Really, it was surveillance. Things escalated when Laura confronted them politely. What are you doing on our property? Victor, a burly 6 feet 2 inches gym rat, shoved her shoulder. Step back, ma'am. Audacity peak. I surged forward, but in a blur, Laura flipped him, arm twisted, on the ground whimpering. Don't touch me, she intoned, voice arctic. Victor and Caldwell fled. Mrs. Ellis across the lake filmed, but kept it private. Stunned, I demanded, what just happened? Self-defense from the military, she muttered, avoiding my gaze. But that wasn't mall seminar stuff. It was elite takedown. Sleepless, I researched combat holds. Chilling realization, not defense, neutralization silent, efficient. Around midnight, I spied her disassembling a scope-like device, tucking it away when I stirred. Her lens cleaning took on surgical vibes. Questions mounted. What else had those hands wrought? Guiltily, I rifled the closet, unearthing discharge papers. United States Marine Corps, Staff Sergeant Laura Kane, MOS 0317 Scout Sniper. Photo. Camo-clad, rifle ready, face resolute. My gentle wife, who teared at pet ads and fed birds meticulously, had been a professional eliminator. Jarring contrast floored me. How to square the butterfly photographer with a human hunter. Margaret ramped up. Police report on assault, dismissed as trespassing, enhanced monitoring. Caldwell's visits timed when I was out, targeting Laura alone. The Millers sought lawyer advice over an $800 fine for wrong porch lights, contemplating selling. Laura's expression hardened, decision made. She evolved or revealed. Dawn walks yielding intel on routines. Exercise, she said, but noted specifics like the Pattersons drop kids at 7:45 sharp or Mrs. Ramirez's groceries Thursdays, 2 to 4 p.m. Gathering data. Found her cleaning a rifle scope. You never aim unless ready to end it. Ominous. Casual chats extracted HOA dirt masterfully. Notebook, bird notes cover, inside surveillance schedules, habits, vulnerabilities. Binoculars on Margaret's house. Night birds making noise. Google confirmed. Marine snipers as patient hunters, pattern analysts. Margaret had poked a hornet's nest. Laura engaged the community, cookies, help with bags, but built an intel net. Corkboard. Photos, strings linking players. Hypothetical at dinner. If pushed too far with means to expose, would you? Testing. Vulnerable Thursdays, she noted of Margaret meds, yelling calls. My discovery of Caldwell drunk at the tavern? She already knew. Whispers grew, tension palpable. Caldwell's drunken porch rant. I can make your life hell. Laura's calm query. Supervisor's name? She dismantled his lies, called the company. Exposed unofficial role. Envelope on bulletin board sparked complaints. Buzz preceded the emergency HOA meeting. Margaret's bid to shame us. 20 attended. Laura entered like a general, laptop ready. Aggressive behavior, Margaret sneered. Laura, I've prepared a presentation. Slides, surveillance briefing. Threatening a Marine's home activates dormant skills. Exposed Caldwell's drinking, Margaret's developer ties, lakeside, buying for hotel via pressure. Laura's credentials, sniper, Afghanistan tours. Financials, bribes to Margaret's firm, Caldwell's pay. Emails, increased citations until sale. Chaos, Caldwell confessed. A board member quit badge slamming. Outrage peaked, fines recounted. Margaret accused. She's a killer. I countered. She defended America. You sold us for cash. Laura, killed 19 threats legally. Never over property. But restraint mistaken for weakness ends badly. Operation terminated. Margaret resigned. Caldwell vanished. Investigation led to federal probes. Project scrapped. New board under Mrs. Ramirez. Sane rules. Peace restored. Laura explained her silence. Wanted to be the photographer, not the killer. You saw gentleness. I cherished that. I said, you're both and that strength. Love means embracing the full person. Margaret's error, equating quiet with weak. New doc sign, private property. Trespassers prosecuted. Owner retired. Marine respect boundaries. Restraint, Laura noted, can be the deadliest tool. What do you think about violence and injustice in everyday life? Have you faced bullies hiding behind rules, or discovered hidden strengths in loved ones? Share your stance in the comments, whether you believe restraint always wins or if sometimes a direct strike is justified. Let's hear your views. It might spark some real discussion.